Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. That very day, the first day of the week, 2 of Jesus' disciples were going to a village 7 miles from Jerusalem called Emmaus, and they were conversing about all the things that had occurred. And it happened that while they were conversing and debating, Jesus himself drew near and walked with them, but their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing as you walk along?" They stopped, looking downcast. One of them, named Clopas, said to him in reply, "Are you the only visitor to Jerusalem who does not know of the things that have taken place here in these days?" And he replied to them, "What sort of things?" They said to him, "The things that happened to Jesus the Nazarene, who was a prophet mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, how our chief priests and rulers both handed him over to a sentence of death and crucified him. But we were hoping that he would be the one to redeem Israel. And besides all this, it is now the 3rd day since this took place. Some women from our group, however, have astounded us. They were at the tomb early in the morning and did not find his body. They came back and reported that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who announced that he was alive. Some of those with us went to the tomb and found things just as the women had described, but him they did not see." And he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets spoke. Was it not necessary that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them what referred to him in all the scriptures. As they approached the village to which they were going, he gave the impression that he was going on farther. But they urged him, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening, and the day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. And it happened that while he was with them at table, he took bread, said the blessing, broke it, and gave it to them. With that, their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, but he vanished from their sight. Then they said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he spoke to us on the way and opened the scriptures to us?" So they set out at once and returned to Jerusalem, where they found gathered together the 11 and those with them who were saying, "The Lord has truly been raised and has appeared to Simon." Then the 2 recounted what had taken place on the way, and how he was made known to them in the breaking of the bread. The Gospel of the Lord. Today we begin our annual Catholic Charities Appeal, as you will find paraphernalia in the pews concerning that, and you might be interested in taking a little envelope and looking at it to see what you are able to do with this in the coming weeks. For Christ, humanity can no longer be confined to the things of the earth and the terms of earthly laws of physics and the way we would typically see things. For this reason, Jesus can appear as he wishes. In his glorified state, he's not necessarily tied down to the rules of physics the way we are. He can eat a nice piece of fish and on a full stomach walk through a wall. Isn't that fantastic? He can appear on demand. He appears as a gardener in the Gospel of John. And a little later, he appears as a beach bum. He's cooking fish on a grill, and he shouts to the disciples, "Throw your nets on the other side." They don't recognize him. He looks like a beach bum. Or one could say he's posing as a fisherman in that same little passage, trying to direct the apostles where to cast their nets for a bounteous catch. In this gospel today, Jesus appears on the road to Emmaus as a simple traveler. In these various ways, although the disciples are hindered in seeing who he really is, he still manages to awaken faith in all these people. Has anyone ever appeared in your life and awakened your faith? Is there a person like that who's crossed your path? I was thinking first of my parents' prayers at the dinner table. I remember saying the rosary every Friday of Lent after supper. We could not go out to play until the rosary was finished. I remember walking to church as a child, holding my dad's hand, going to Mass early in the morning on Sundays. Perhaps one of my most profound memories of someone appearing to awaken faith in me, besides my parents, was when I was on a retreat as a teenager, 13 years old, and a girl about my age was giving a testimony about what Jesus did for me on the cross and how much he loved me. I don't understand how or why, but at that time, even though I was a devout Catholic, I was so profoundly touched by her words that the reality of Jesus dying on the cross for me personally changed my life. Jesus was no longer a historical figure, but Jesus was now real to me. Could you be the one through whom Jesus appears to awaken faith in someone? Through you, Christ smiles warmly when you greet people who just simply come to Mass. And especially you can profoundly minister to someone who walks into this church not having been here before and feel the warmth of Christ because of you. Though Christ appears, loving children through Christ, through you, Christ can appear in the love you give your children or the way we treat one another as husband and wife. Christ makes a grand appearance. Indeed, as the gospel says, the Word becomes flesh. Well, the Word becomes flesh in us by our baptism. By our baptism, Christ is in us, and he uses us to reveal himself in profound ways to people. And sometimes we don't even know it when he's revealing himself through us for the sake of others. You are Christ, and he desires to reveal himself through you so the world can see, feel, know, and touch. This week, as we're launching the New Hampshire Catholic Charities Drive, New Hampshire Catholic Charities is about creating a network for Jesus to appear as he wishes in the work and the goodwill of people of the body of Christ. It could be as seemingly insignificant as someone making a donation with the Catholic Charities envelopes, or the thousands of ministries and ministering that New Hampshire Catholic Charities does throughout our diocese. Jesus wishes to work in his body through you. And with your assistance, we can assist his mission in revealing himself to the world through something like Catholic Charities that we as a parish support. I encourage you to take this seriously and look at those envelopes in the pews today.
Regina Celi, letare